All right, people, welcome to Sin.ethix Unfiltered. Today we have a very special person, MBA professional with hybrid athlete, like a professional hybrid athlete, who is also the race director of Niveus Marathon Mangalore 2025. So this is, let me not introduce her. She has a very long profile. So let's ask herself, like, who is Mehwish Hussain?
Oh, very interesting question. Sometimes I kind of ask myself, who is Mehwish Hussain? But jokes apart, I think, I'm a person with over 15 years of professional experience in sales and marketing. So currently I'm heading the sales and marketing team at a Canadian-based company, which is called AsteroidX. And on the other side, I'm also a certified marathon trainer from ACSM, and I've done over 600 hours of yoga certification from multiple academies. I have done my personal training course from the ESA, that's again ACSM. So yeah, that's pretty much my professional background and the kind of certifications that I've done when it comes to the fitness industry. But apart from that, of course, I'm a marathon runner, and currently, because I've come across different marathons and done different marathons, I'm also the race director for the Niveus Mangalore Marathon 2025. That's this year. And to tell you a little bit about myself, I think I'm someone who truly believes in myself while chasing goals. It's all about ensuring that I'm disciplined. I'm full of positivity. I do, may look like a rebel sometimes, but I do know what my boundaries are too.
Absolutely.
Right? So yeah, I think this is a kind of quality that helps me stay very disciplined both on the track and off the track, right? And I mean,
Right.
I think I truly, I'm a person who tries to know myself every single day so that I'm getting better and better. So yeah, I think that's a little bit profile about me so far. And I think I'm still learning every single day.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's really great. So, how long has it been since you're into fitness basically? Let's go into running or other things later, but fitness basically. When did you start and everything? Yeah.
Um, so when it comes to fitness, I'm not sure how exactly you categorize that, but then I've always been into sports, okay? So right from my school days, I've been an athlete. I've taken part in multiple, competitions. I've been a short distance runner, like 100 meters, 200 meters. So for people who know me from my childhood, they would always call me the sports girl of the school. I've headed the sports team at multiple eras. I've played my nationals, so I've kind of represented the Gulf and come to India in the all CBSE, international event for badminton. So
Oh.
ideally, I'm a badminton player, which not many people know right now because I don't play the sport as much. But yeah, I think from my school days, I've always been into sports. I've been called as the sporty girl. But I think in between, post your graduate, post your MBA, then life happens. You kind of, shift attention and things like that. So I think I kind of lost, playing or doing any kind of sport. But off late, if I could say, I think the fitness regime or literally taking care of myself started post COVID. So if I could just, tell you a little bit instance. So I saw my parents struggle at an early age in terms of health and struggling through different, ailments and stuff like that. And I felt like, okay, maybe this is the time that I really have to start taking care of myself. And that's where, I started learning about different things and certifications happened. And of course, parallelly, all the other things when it comes to yoga or running and strength and conditioning, all of that put together. I would say in the last 5 to 6 years. So yeah, pretty much post COVID. So for most of the people, I think COVID was
Yeah.
yeah, was a
Like a
disaster. But
reality
for
check.
me, yeah, for a reality check, and I think it went in two different directions for people who could actually use that time and ensure that they get better. So I think I belong to that particular community, but there are some people who kind of went haywire as well. So I think it was like like how you call it as BC and AC, right? So the same way it was like before COVID and after COVID. So it's for me the after COVID that actually, gave me a reality check and also gave me an opportunity. Because if you remember that, that few months of lockdown, I mean, I went insane. I went crazy. I didn't know what to do. So there would be times
I
that I was just walking out.
There were time where I was, we'll have this shelves in the kitchen. I was just doing pull-ups there,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
on sits there.
Yeah, so I think that kind of discipline and everything brought in us, and we saw that okay, this is good, and then we started enjoying every bit of it, and I think since then I've been pretty consistent.
That's great. That's really great. So you told me like you've been running since your childhood, like 100, 200. But since currently you are a marathon athlete as well as a marathon runner and a coach as well. So when did you start running, like, like a long distance running, or when was your first, official race or official marathon? Like, when was it?
Okay, that again, like I said, it was all after COVID. So I would say that just before COVID, a year or two, I would have possibly done a 2 kilometer or a 5 kilometer, but trust me, without knowing nothing of it. So I didn't know what a race was. I didn't know what a marathon was. I probably didn't even know the spelling of it or the distance of it. But someone just said that okay, there is a 2 kilometer walk jog, there was a 5 kilometer walk jog, and that's where it kind of started. It initiated there, but then of course the COVID happened, and then I think I became a much fitter self. Basically, I lost a lot of weight. There was a huge transformation where people saw me before COVID and after COVID, saw a huge difference, and they're like, okay, what happened to you suddenly? So there was a noticeable change. And then what happened was then it turned into 10 kilometers. So, a little by little. But again, then also, I wouldn't call myself as someone who knew about running or anything about long distances or endurance sport, right? It was just for the heck of it that, okay, there is an event coming, let's just go and sign up for the medal, right? And then, of course, I came across Mangalore Runners Club and a few people out there. So, they one day just got in touch and said that we're going to be doing a 50-kilometer run. So for a lot of people who do not know, I've actually done my 50 kilometer even before my 42 kilometer. That's a full marathon. So it was just a crazy picnic kind of a thing that happened. So I think just before that, I must have progressed a little bit from 10 kilometer to say a maximum of 21. So half a marathon I had done. But again, like knowing nothing about it, just a random person doing, that distance. I know it's not very safe and it's not very advisable, but then again, from 21 kilometer, I directly progressed to 50. So even before I did my 42, it was a 50 kilometers. So and then I realized, okay, this is good. This is therapeutic. This is something that I can, possibly do. And then I started enjoying it every single run that I was doing. And then it obviously showed me a lot of progress in myself and the way I thought, and in a lot of other things that I did. So I felt like, okay, this is my thing. And then I didn't feel like stopping. Like there was a time that I felt like, no, what is long distance running? I mean, how can you run for so long? It's so boring. How can you do the same thing
Yeah.
over and over again for multiple hours, right? So that's the stupid mindset that I came from. And then when I did it, and I'm like, okay, this is possible, and this is something that I'm not getting bored of. So maybe let's do it again. So I kind of showed up for every single race, and 5 years down the line, here I am doing multiple races and waiting for an opportunity. So even before I finish a race, I'm already signing up for another one. So
That's
that's the
that's
kind of
really
love
great.
that I have.
That's a champion what mentality as well. That's really great. Okay, so how many marathon races have you participated in? Have you ever participated in international marathon races? Like, because while seeing your profile, I've seen Comrades and High Rocks 25 where we went together and everything.
Yes,
So yeah, how was your experience? Like, what are the international marathons,
races.
ultra marathons races like you have participated in? And what about the Comrades? What's your experience on it? Like, if you
Sure.
could tell me.
So, I'm a person who doesn't keep a count. So, it's
Just
mostly
do
like,
it.
okay, it's done, it's over, and, move on and look for another one. Like I said earlier, I'm a person who, signs up for another race even before we finish
Before.
one. So, there's a calendar of races we pick and decide, right? So, once it's done, it's done. I don't brood over it. I don't dwell over the success or the failure. I kind of move on, right? So, yeah, in terms of number, it's kind of difficult for me to say because, like I said, I don't keep a count, but I've done most of the major races in India. So, beat it the Tata Mumbai Marathon, the Hyderabad Marathon, the Ahmedabad Marathon. I've done the Ladakh Marathon, the Delhi one. I've done Kolkata. I've done Bangalore. I
Yeah,
have done
basically, I've run all
Ooty.
over India. You're-
India mostly, yes. All the races are pretty much covered. So all the Procam, the NEB. So there are two important companies in India. So most of their events, wherever they have done in Chikmagalur, Coorg,
Hmm.
Trivandrum. So yeah, every state I've picked up each race, and I have done most of it. I still have a couple of more left. So and when it comes to international, of course, like you mentioned, Comrades was my first international race that I
So,
did, and
what
it was
is
a
basically
direct.
Comrades? Is it just like a marathon
Sure.
or?
So, Comrades is a very, very interesting, close to a heart kind of a race. It's a long distance 90-kilometer race where you have to qualify for it. So, not everybody
Oh.
is allowed to participate. You need to have a basic qualifier, and they have to approve that qualification. So, and there is a cutoff time. So, basically, what happens? It's a 90-kilometer race where you're running from one city to another. So, basically, if it's an up run or a down run, you either run from Durban to Pietermaritzburg or Pietermaritzburg to Durban, depending on the up or down. But in total, it's a 90-kilometer race wherein you have to finish the entire race within 12 hour of cutoff time. So that is a very, very challenging thing. So
Challenging.
it's a emotion for most of the people. And just to get there, just to be at the start line itself is like a huge thing, because you must have gone through a certain training program to just be there. Like the entire confidence that comes physically and mentally is something that kind of drives you there. That's the first thing. And second thing, the entire experience of being there. Like in India, one of the races that I would say would be the Tata Mumbai Marathon, where the entire community, when I say community, people on the streets are standing there, the local people who are standing there to kind of give their support to you by way of everything that they could possibly do for you, for a runner, like to motivate with music, with food. So that is magnified 10 times in South Africa in for the Comrades, where the entire city is off. All the companies are off. Every single person, old, young, child, infant, is on the road supporting the runners for the entire route of 90 kilometers. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps even while I talk about it. So that is definitely an experience, and the kind of preparation. I mean, than the race day itself, the preparation that I went through for nearly 6 months. The race happens in June of every year. So I start preparing for it, say, from January onwards, and from Jan to June, it's literally like a journey that you live every single day, dreaming about standing just on the start line. I mean, forget about the finish or whether you're able to finish, but just to stand on that start line when they're playing the South African national anthem or a motivational song called Shosholoza there, right? I mean, all that is an experience. So yeah, I think it was a great experience, and more than anything, more than the achievement, I think it's all about living that experience of the journey that you've been through, the training, and just showing up at the start line.
Exactly, exactly. I've always told people, see, recently, I have recently started running, and I have always told people that, okay, I mean, it's the journey what matters, it's the training journey what matters. It's like you complete the race, you finish the race in whatever time you can, that is a different thing. But training period is as a golden period is what I would call it, because that's
Absolutely.
where that's where you will know your weakness, your strengths, what to work on, what to not work on, or what to push yourself in. And I feel that with 2 3 months of running experience, not a I mean not a big thing, but something a big thing to me. But I feel that running, let's say if it's 10 kilometer or 21 or 42, whatever it is, there's only a limited kilometers where we run. Rest everything, I mean, rest all the kilometers, we just say that we are not a quitter. We just have
Exactly.
that not quitting mentality. We keep on going, we keep pushing, one more kilometer, one more kilometer. It's just that not quitting mentality of us which will keep us going. So that's what running got into me, being a bodybuilder since so many, what, 6 7 years. So running has got me something really really, I cannot explain that what running has got me. So it has become a trend as well, which is really a
Yeah.
good thing. So yeah, that's the thing. So lovely to know about your comrades and everything. So what's the highest kilometer you have, like, what's the highest distance you have covered, like in running, basically? Was it the
So it was a
Comrade or
Comrades, yeah. It was a
okay,
90
90,
kilometers. So
90?
before 90, I did a 75-kilometer, which was a Dandeli run.
Okay,
That happened about 3 years back, which happens in Dandeli. That's also another very difficult route because it's got a lot of elevation. So
elevations,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
elevation, and then you're running in between the forests. It's not as much as a crowd support that you have. You're literally running alone in a jungle. So I
Alone,
think
yeah.
that was a break point for me in terms of understanding what ultra races is all about. So full marathon is 42.2 kilometer. Anything beyond 42 is called as ultra marathon. Okay. So there is a 10 kilometer, there is a half marathon, there is a full marathon. So sometimes, I mean, I might sound a little arrogant, but when someone comes and tells me I've done a 5
I was
kilometer
about to
marathon,
get this. I was
yeah,
about
so
to get
it
this.
becomes, I mean, I want to be as nice and as polite to them and tell them and maybe correct them because, it can be an honest mistake, right? I mean, 5 kilometer,
Yeah.
10 kilometer is not a marathon. A marathon is
Marathon.
42.2 kilometers, and there is a history behind why it's called a marathon, right? And so a half marathon is exactly the half of it, 21.1. So anything beyond 42.2 is an ultra marathon. So someone will come and tell me, hey, listen, I did an ultra marathon. I was like, wow, excited. What ultra distance did you do? I did a 30 kilometer. No, 30 kilometer is not an ultra marathon. So, I mean, there needs to be a lot of right information. I don't blame them because maybe a
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
of
fair
years
enough.
back, I was
Fair.
I was the same too, right? So it's just about, giving out the right information and ensuring that people know what they are saying and what they are doing. So yeah, I mean, for me, the ultra distances, like I said, came even before I did my full marathon, right? So a couple of ultra races that I've done is the Coorg, the Ooty, and the Satara, and so just by way of training for comrades, you have to cover up a few distances, a few mileages. So it's a great way of doing, couple of other, like say for example, if I'm training for a 90, I'll have to do at least two times the 60 kilometers in that period of 6 months, right?
6 months,
So
right,
it's,
right,
yeah,
right.
in 6 months I would have, like say for example, when I was training for comrades, I did my 60 kilometers of Ooty and then I did my 60 kilometers of Satara run. So it becomes very important for you to cover up certain mileages. So yeah, I mean, it all depends on what you're training for and what is your ultimate goal when it comes to running. So yeah,
Correct.
Dandeli was a very, very different experience one because it was running alone in between the forest where literally I started hallucinating because I didn't know what was happening to my body and stuff like that. But I was the only female finisher in that particular run. So it was a 75
Beautiful.
kilometer run. So
That's
that, yeah,
something great. Yeah, that's something
yeah,
really to be proud of.
yeah.
Really appreciate that. And let's come back to the play. I mean, to your life where you are a MBA professional right now. You are working in a major firm as well as you're doing all this. So how are you managing things? Like, you're a superwoman right now. How are you? How are you managing things like multiple? Let's say you are an athlete, you're a race director, you're working as that, and yes, like many other things. You might have your personal commitments also, like everything as such. So how are you basically managing it?
Well, that's an interesting one because I think, Sinan, it's all about loving something that you do, right? So when you love something, you will eventually find time and the effort to do it and complete it, or at least stay in the process, right? So for me, it's that drive. Like you said, of course, I have personal commitments. Like I have aged, ailing, parents whom I have to give a lot of time, like much more than I could show or do. And, it's not a regret. It's something that I'm absolutely proud of. So I have that aspect of my life. I have, my work where I'm actually heading a team of individuals wherein, I'm responsible for their sales targets. I'm responsible for their discipline, their mood, and, making sure that they are happy in the company and stuff like that. So literally, I'm responsible for every single day that they give to us in the company. And then, of course, there is this fitness regime, and there are these people whom, who people kind of tend to look up to you. So you are accountable to them as well, because you cannot be doing wrong or whatever it is in front of them, because, they're kind of looking up to you and ensuring that, they want to do the same thing too. So I think it's all about the drive, right? And like I said, I'm a very disciplined person. So when that drive fails, I think the discipline kind of takes over and ensures that, the drive is back into its place. So I think it's when you love something, you will eventually find the time to do it. And I
Absolutely.
think in each of these areas that I mentioned, either if it's my family or my company that I work for, it's the sales and marketing, which I absolutely love. I feel like I was born to do that. And then, of course, fitness, that, the running or the cross training or whatever it is that runs in my blood. So when I put all of these things together and I love each one of it, I have to ensure that I'm giving time. So I think time management, the discipline, the drive, when all these things put together, it's possible. It's not that I
Absolutely.
know I do have my low days. It's not that, I'm a superwoman, which people keep telling. I am not. I'm telling you, I have my low days. I fall. I have a lot of failures too. But then I think I'm someone who smiles through my failures. Maybe I would cry about it, but again, I would wake up smiling because I know that I am accountable to each of these disciplines of my life. So yeah, show up.
Absolutely lovely, lovely answer. Really great. Okay, so coming back to the hybrid. So how do you manage your running? How do you like your running, weightlifting, or strength training, running as well as yoga, right? How do you basically plan your routine? Like, do you have a specific day where you run, or do you plan like do you plan a weekly routine? Like, how do you basically involve everything? Like, basic a hybrid athlete is something which has a combination of everything, right? Which has
Yeah.
everywhere. You're a jack of all basically. So how do you do that? Like,
So, again, most importantly, even before we ask how we do it, it's about why we do it, right? So, I mean, you would understand, you're a learned certified professional.
fair.
So,
Yeah.
training in planar, activities or, movement is so important, which most of the people do not know. They just
Correct.
do something for the heck of it. They do not know why they're doing what they're doing. And I'm
Exactly.
sorry to say this, most of the trainers are also not aware of that, right? So it's so important for us to move in different planes of motion. And motion is definitely the new lotion, right? The more we move, the more we are able to, stay healthy and stay fit and injury free, literally, especially as we are aging, correct? So it's so important for us to understand the why behind what we are doing, and then all the things can be put into a plan, which may run across a week or a month or 3 months or whatever it is, depending on your goal. So again, coming back to me, I think functionally being fit is the most important thing. Like, say for example, if I'm wanting to do a particular thing, like say for example lifting something off the ground, I need to be functionally fit to do that, being injury free, or with the right form or with the right alignment and all of that, right? So for me, it's most importantly about doing things correctly with the right form. So I think most of the disciplines that I have been certified with, it could be strength and conditioning, or it could be marathon, or it could be yoga, has taught me a little bit of everything, and that's why I love doing all of it. And that's probably one of the reasons I love to cross train. And just an off the record thing, I am also a person who gets bored a little soon. So that's why I kind of keep it, variety of things within the week or whatever it is. So I'm not like giving up or anything. And there is a little bit of everything that I'm doing. So, and another great thing is that, say for example, now running is the most important sport that I'm following. So to do a good running or to achieve a certain target by way of distance or pace, I should be very good with my strength and conditioning. I should be very good with my flexibility and
Endurance.
mobility, because yeah, I should be very good with my endurance. So all the disciplines put together will make me an excellent runner, or at least an injury free runner, if not for anything. So understanding and doing a little bit of all these things. And how do we do that? By incorporating it in our training plans, right? So
Correct.
that's why we as trainers should, train or plan such a way that people are functionally fit, rather than looking a certain way aesthetically. I mean, of course, those things
Exactly.
are
Yeah.
important too. I'm not saying that, we don't want to have, a bicep or a tricep or a strong chest or a quad or whatever it is. But how functionally are you able to use each of those body parts is something that you got to ask yourself. And how much is it helping you in aging or in being fitter or in not having a possible illness or whatever? Like, say, for example, how many of us talk about heart rate? How many of us talk about oxygen consumption or,
VO2 max. Yeah.
VO2 max and all of that, right? Nobody does all of that these days because it's unfortunate that they do not know about it, and the learned trainers don't even talk about it or don't plan the training accordingly.
Yeah. No,
So,
I feel
from
currently the trainers only don't know about, let's say, VO2 max or,
yeah, yeah,
these heart
yeah,
rates. They don't like, they basically, as you told, it's just, oh, I mean, not blaming them if I've been there.
yeah,
I've been there where I was just like, okay, bodybuilding, you're gonna, that's not, that's when I realized that's not just fitness, because I might be the most aesthetic looking guy, but I might also be the most unfit guy among the group if there are endurance
absolutely.
athletes. So
Yeah.
that's what my realization is.
Exactly. Like, say, for example, just to give you a very small, I think each and everybody who is considering themselves as fit can walk, jog, run a basic 5 kilometer or a 10 kilometer. Because, like, say, for example, we all walk in the malls for 1 hour, 2 hour, or whatever it is, walk in the park, or we go for a vacation, we walk a lot. It's exactly the same thing, right? So I feel
Exactly.
everybody is kind of fit enough, but they just don't know how to use that right when it comes to their training program. So,
Exactly.
and unfortunately nobody tells us also. We were also in that particular, frame of mind or thought process, but luckily we are learning, we're
Luckily.
evolving. So yeah, I mean,
Exactly. Luckily,
touch
we
wood,
like to explore, we like to try
explore.
out things. So
Exactly.
that's the good thing what
Sometimes
we do.
life gives it a hard way by way of a
Hmm.
disease, and then we realize, oh shit, I should have taken care of myself much before. Or someone has a bad back pain, or someone has an injury or something like that, where you have to run to a physio or run to an ortho or a doctor or whatever it is. So sometimes life has its own way of showing us things, right? So I mean,
Correct.
sometimes it's okay, it's fine, I think. Yeah,
Basically, you have to be fit, and fitness is something where you are able to move your body in the way you want. Basically, you should
correct,
not think twice if you have to walk 5 floors. If the lift is not working, and if you have to walk like 5 floor stairs, like, you should not think twice. You
correct,
should be able to walk. So that's what
correct.
fitness is, basically, according to me.
Yeah.
Right. Right. All right. So it was lovely knowing you, the complete, a complete package of everything. Touchwood. And yes, let's hold this all
Yeah,
the
that's
while.
all.
All right. So coming back to the Niveus Marathon 2025 Mangalore. So you have been the race director, or I mean, you are the race director of this year Niveus Marathon 2025 Mangalore. So what are basically? Can you just give an overview of it? Like, what is this year's theme? Like, okay, and further things and
Mhm.
everything. So yeah.
Sure. So this is the fourth edition of Niveus Mangalore Marathon. So we started 3 years back. It started, or it is organized by the Mangalore Runners Club. Okay, wherein it is not backed by any event management company or anybody from the outside. So it's all organized 100% by a passionate group of runners who are very, very busy, who have reached a certain point. Some are CEOs of companies, some are business entrepreneurs and stuff like that, some are homemakers. So everybody comes together with only one common goal, that is to make Mangalore fit, or to like promote fitness through running. So that's how Mangalore Runners Club was formed a couple of years back, and we had our first edition of Mangalore Marathon, where Niveus was our main sponsor, and they have continued their support so far for the fourth year as well. So every year we've had theme which is very closely associated with Namakudla, right, with Mangalore. So we have, in the past editions, we have had Yakshagana, we have had Kamla. So this year, again, we have picked up a theme that's absolutely close to almost 99.9% of Mangaloreans. That's your Pili Nalike, right? So your Pili theme, which is the traditional tiger dance of Nammakudla. So we have consciously picked that up because we knew that every single Mangalorean would relate to that, right? I mean,
Absolute.
and also it relates or it resonates to a lot when it comes to running, when it comes to energy. You talk about, the culture, you talk about the humbleness, the holding, the grounding, and all of that. So it kind of resonates to the theme, and we felt like it's going to be an apt theme. The run is organized on November 9th, okay? And we have various categories basically. So it's a run that's organized again by the runners for the runners to create a beautiful experience. So we want to ensure that it's literally like a carnival for anybody who's participating in the event, as well as for someone who's watching at the side. Like I talked to you about the experience of,
Of course.
Comrades or
Of
Tata Mumbai Marathon. So we want to bring that same culture in Mangalore. And
Mangalore.
definitely Mangalore is a small city. Like everybody is closely knitted. It's like we know how warm we are and how loving we are towards everybody and everything. We were very passionate set of people. I mean, if I want to talk something about Mangalore and Mangaloreans, I mean, I absolutely love the place and I absolutely love the people because we're very warm. We know how to treat the guests, and in terms of either food. I mean, about the Mangalorean food, right? So we know how to we have that Atiti Devo Bhava mentality in us.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
exactly what we want to present for
Hmm.
anybody who's going to be participating, especially the outstation runners. So
Correct.
yeah, we're kind of looking forward for it. Let's see.
Hmm.
The preparations have been going on since almost 7 to 8 months right now.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of work because, like I said, it's no event management company. We have to take off our time, put in the effort, and ensure that we're bringing a successful experience for every runner who's going to be a part of the event.
That's great. Okay. What are the categories in this basic like run in the event?
Okay, so we have a full marathon. Okay, we have a 20 miler, which is a 32-kilometer, which we just introduced last year. And then we have, of course, the half marathon. We have the 10-kilometer, which is the most popular and favorite of everybody. And then we have a 5-kilometer and then a 2-kilometer Maja run. And then we have student category run, which is different in 5 and 10. So we have a little bit for everybody. So anybody and everybody can run in this event. So you
Run.
just have to come, show up, sign up, and earn yourself a medal and a t-shirt once you finish that race.
So what about these paces? Like how is it basically formed, and like for others understanding what are the paces? So if you can tell more about it to the viewers out there.
Sure, it's a very very important aspect of any marathon because a pacer is someone who takes a responsibility of a particular time, okay, a particular distance, and finishing that distance at a set time. So the organizers give them a certain time. Say, for example, 10 kilometers, you have to finish in 50 minutes, okay? Now that pacer should be able to, or should be such a accurate runner who possibly would have finished previous 45 minutes because a pacer's responsibility is a very very important one because say for example I'm a pacer for 50 minutes and you are someone who is an aspirational finisher for 50 minutes. You might have finished at 55 minutes or say 58 minutes, but in this particular race you want to finish in 50 minutes. So I'm a pacer who is running with an identity with me, maybe a flag or a t-shirt or a bag, which will make me stand out, saying that I am taking responsibility of you to finish that in 50 minutes. Of course, you should be trained and all of that. But then again, I'm setting a certain pace. A job of a pacer is setting a certain pace, and that pace is already given out much before in time. All right. So there is a certain strategy that they follow in terms of each kilometer, and I just have to follow that and stick with you. So on the
Right.
race day, anything can happen. So the pacer's
Yeah.
job is to ensure that the bus or the group of people who are running along with the pacer is staying motivated. They have to be
Okay.
talking to them. They have to be ensuring that, they are safe as well. I mean, to a large extent, it's not that, of course, they can stop their run and help someone if they're injured, but ensuring that everything is looking good. So you're creating an atmosphere, a positive atmosphere for someone to finish a particular race at a set time. So every
Got it.
category will have different timing paces. Say, for example, Mangalore Marathon has four paces at each category. So 10 kilometer
Okay.
has four different times, and each of them are running
Okay.
at different times. So we have a
Awesome.
50 minutes, a 55 minutes, a 60 minutes, and then so on and so forth. 21 kilometer will have again four paces, 32 will have about three, and then 42 will have about three. So basically, a pacer's responsibility, but it's a very responsible job, and also a pacer sacrifice his own race. All right, because say for example, he is a 45-minute runner, but for a community, he is sacrificing his timing and running at a 50-minute. I mean, it is a huge privilege, but also comes with the responsibility that you have to ensure. And also another thing is that sometimes if you're a fast runner, it becomes very difficult for you to run slow. You have to hold yourself. And the pacer's responsibility, the primary responsibility or a success of a pacer comes when he has reached dot on time. Sometimes what happens, we are, carried away and we run too fast, or we cannot reach the bus on time. So a 45-minute pacer will reach, say, around 40 minutes, or say 55 minutes. Both of it is not accepted. You are a pacer for 45 minutes. You have to reach at 45 minutes, 30 seconds plus minus. That's what any major,
Pacer.
event management companies will expect. Like, say, for example, I have had the opportunity of pacing events like TCS Bangalore 10K. So I've done that 3 times. So I've been the fastest bus in the TCS 10K. So 50 minutes for 3 years. And then this year they gave me an opportunity of being the 48-minute pacer. So that's the top that they have. And one of the good things about TCS 10K is that all are women pacers. And then I've paced the Tata Mumbai Marathon as well, the full marathon, which was 420 bus. And then I've also had the opportunity of pacing the first year of Niveus Mangalore Marathon. So being a pacer multiple times and multiple events, I know how crucial, what a pressurizing job it can get. And of course,
Absolutely.
it comes with a privilege as well. I mean, people look up to you, like, especially when you're walking around the expo and stuff like that. You get a lot of attention, but then you have to live up to that attention and expectation both.
That's nice. All right. So that's about paces. So, and what is the actual like speciality of Niveus Marathon this year? So, what is it?
So I think, firstly, of course, it's an AIMS certified route. Okay, so that is a huge plus point. It's a
Absolutely. Yeah.
privilege for people running with Niveus Mangalore Marathon, because once the route is it is certified, you are able to run any of the world majors with that particular timing link. Okay, so for a marathon, most important thing is the timing. Okay, that's why we're given the chip, and the bib, and the bib has the chip and things like that, right? So that ensures that you've completed the distance at a certain time. So that timing should be valid, if you want to kind of apply for any other major races across India or the world. So if you are running in Mangalore and you're finishing that full marathon or half marathon, you can use your timing link to be running anywhere or to qualify yourself anywhere. So that's what ensures about the AIMS certified route. And it takes a lot for us to get there, because you have to get the entire troop. They have to measure even a centimeter going here and there. It's not approved, right? It's not valid basically. So you have to ensure that, it's properly done with the standards, meeting the standards. So it's an AIMS certified. And then of course, the course itself, like, it's a rolling course, and Mangalore has a very different climate. I mean, I would not say it's a difficult or an easy one, but it's a very different one as compared to the other parts of India, right? So for someone who will ensure that they come to Mangalore and finish their race, it's going to be a proud moment for them, because it's not going to be an easy cakewalk thing. I'm not saying it's going to be too difficult, but it's not going to be easy. Let's say, for example, someone coming from Bangalore, running in Bangalore, because of the course, because of the elevation, because of the weather conditions here, it takes a little extra effort for them to kind of finish. So the kind of challenging terrain that we offer. And then third, of course, the various distances. You, like I said, you could be any distant runner. You can pick the run and then, kind of finish it. So we have 42, we have 32, we have 21, we have 10, 5, 2. So pick it, come with the family, leave the entire family at the start of the race, and let everybody kind of finish their respective races and come back to the finish point, celebrating it together as a family. So we want to promote it that way, right? And then for the 10 kilometer, which very, very less places in the world has this, okay? So the 10-kilometer run starts from the city, or sorry, the stadium, and then it runs in the city and the highway, and then you're passing the river and then going towards the beach, okay? So that's the entire 10-kilometer loop that you finish. And then the best part is you come back to the city by taking the ferry. So that's an experience that we are creating, and people love it, especially the outside stationed, runners that they come, they're like, wow, this is so amazing. Because once you finish the race, and Sunan, you would agree to me, right? You want the best of the best, treatment that you want to get. So we at the finish line will give a bunda, and then, the tender coconut refresh. We give ice creams and candies and all of that, because once you finish the race, you just want to, feel like the king or the queen, right?
Exactly.
And then when you finish all that, and then you come sit on a ferry, experience that entire ride, maybe with the loved ones, with your friends, with your family, or whoever you want to special that you want to, kind of celebrate that special moment with, right? So I think it's the experience of that entire 10 kilometer. And honestly, it's my favorite too. And most of the people just sign up for 10K because they want to have this entire experience. So I think that's something very, very different. And most important, it's the runners organized event. So we know how important it is for a runner's experience to keep in mind while we are organizing it. So in terms of hydration, in terms of route support, in terms of the finisher medals, in terms of the t-shirts, the shaping of the t-shirts, the quality of the t-shirts, because we want them to have a good run, because we've taken part in so many events and stuff. So we know what are the goods and the bads. We know how important it is for a runner to feel comfortable throughout the race. So we ensure that every little details are taken care of, and then we'll be like, okay, it's a runner's event, so the runner's experience is utmost important when it comes to all these aspects. So I think, that way we have covered up a lot of different aspects in the last 3 years. And then, of course, this is going to be a much bigger year in terms of registrations, in terms of participation as well. Like we started off with 2,500, and then it moved to 3,000, and then it moved to 5,000, and eventually this year we're looking for at least 6 to 7,000 participations.
What is your one message to the outstation runners? Like, okay, what do you, what do you have to tell basically?
Well, to the outstation runners, which we have quite a lot of people coming in this year, all right. So we're very, very excited to host them. So to the outstation runner friends of ours, what we want to tell them is that, of course, it's a different terrain and it's a different tropical weather that you will be running with. So, for example, if you're coming from Bangalore, running in Bangalore would be a little more challenging. Of course, if you've acclimatized well, or if you've trained in a certain condition, maybe uphill, rolling course or whatever, then it's going to be a cakewalk. But if you've not, then it's going to be a little extra effort that you would have to take to finish the race. That's one thing. Second thing is, of course, because of the weather, it's going to get hotter as the day progresses. You'll have to hydrate yourself very well. So your hydration strategy should be to the point of where you are running rather than where you're coming from. So you'll have to ensure that you're hydrating very well a day prior and on the race day also. And then, ensure that you're drinking enough water so you're not bonking down, or you're not hitting the wall, or you're not cramping, or whatever it is. So your hydration, your fueling strategy should be according to the race and the rolling course and stuff like that. And then, of course, when it comes to carb loading, I mean, Mangalore is a place that offers a lot of different kind of food, right? So you may want to kind of go haywire a day prior, but I would say just hold off to those kori rotis and, ghee roast and everything, and the gut buds and the parafits of ideal pabas, ice cream and stuff like that. You can do all of that post the race day as a celebration. But yeah, I think pretty much that's what I would tell. Take care of your hydration, take care of the route strategy, learn the entire route, in terms of elevations and profiles, and I think you should be good to go.
That's great. All right. So yeah, we are also excited to get people to see Mangalore and try the Mangalorean food, experience the Mangalorean race, which is really gonna be big and great, right? And get that Pilinalike medal to their cities and show it show them
Absolutely.
what Mangalore is.
Yeah.
That would be really great and lovely. And what do you have to tell to these first time runners, let's say, be it any category they're running into? So yeah.
So, yeah, to the first time runners, I would say that just enjoy the race. Like, don't keep way too much expectations. I mean, there are two different kind of first time runners. One is people who have actually trained for it and it's their first marathon. Of course, they would have gone through the entire training plan and program. And, again, to them, I would say that just don't push yourself too hard because, again, it's your first time. You might want to understand what's happening with your body because, like I said, training is a different thing and race day is a whole different experience. Anything can happen that morning. So just be prepared for it. Don't over expect anything from yourself and just enjoy the race. And for the other set of people who have just signed up because maybe their friend has signed up, I'm telling you, this happens, right? And I'm not demotivating it, of course. Those are things that probably we have all done and we all learn through it. For those people, I would just say that go easy, just walk. Take it as a, walk in the park or something like that. Just because someone is running beside you super hard or super fast, not necessarily means that you should
You
also
have
be
to.
doing it because, yeah, you might just set yourself to an injury which would be irreversible. So be smart about it. Of course, we want you to enjoy the race. We want to have a very safe, injury-free race. We have a lot of medical support backed by KMC, but then, we want to ensure that we are being mindful because as long as we are taking care of ourselves, I think nothing truly will really happen, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I think it's just about enjoy the race, earn that medal, make sure that you are hydrating at every stations that you're getting of whatever distance that you will be getting, and then and then motivate one another. I mean, the entire point of events like this, and one thing that I absolutely love and don't want to miss is about motivating and inspiring. Like, look around, inspire yourself because there are
Absolutely. Yes.
so many things that's happening in that
Right.
particular race course, right? So
Right.
many things, little things. It could be the minutest of the minutest thing, but it really teaches us a lot of things. Like at
Exactly.
some point, you will see an old person just walking in, making sure, ensuring with a smile he's finishing, or maybe there is a young kid, or maybe there is someone who's a mother who's running with a baby. There are so many different situations that we go through, and it's an emotion that we live. So as much as possible, try to get inspired with all these things because it will help you show up for another race day or show up for the next day,
Absolutely.
right? Those are the little takeaways that we take. And then, as much as possible, try to inspire someone else. Like, if someone's kind of walking or trying to give up, like, take them along. You might miss a minute or two, but for them, you're ensuring that they complete the race. And that's one of the biggest highs that you can get from any races, like, especially when two people are finishing at the same time and things like that. It's not just you, it's also another person who's finished along with you. And I think when that entire team goes along, that's a different high altogether. So inspire yourself and also ensure that you're inspiring someone else entire course.
Lovely, lovely to know that. And I mean, really great to talk to you. And one last thing, what I want to ask is, what about the registrations and everything? Is it like what are the things about registrations you would want to say?
Sure. So the registrations have started already. In fact, we are at the fag end of the registrations. We're almost closing any time right now. I mean, to give you a rough idea, possibly we would close it somewhere in the mid or the third week of October. So ensure that, I mean, we did have a good early bird registrations in the initial months when we opened it. And then right now the early birds is off. So a lot of people regret not registering during the early bird. Sometimes we have this habit of procrastinating things, right? Okay, we'll do it tomorrow. And that tomorrow never comes for whatever reason. So I think the first and the foremost thing in terms of discipline is to kind of sign up for it and, show up.
Show
And
up.
when you've signed up for it, you've done 90% of the job. And then, it's just the 10% of the job to kind of show up, and then finishing will anyway happen. Most of the problems kind of lies up in, even taking that one step to, go ahead and say that, yes, I'm going to do this. this, and that's what your registration confirms to you. So if you have not done so far, then believe me, you are missing out on something so important, which will make you yourself a much better person. So you're not doing it as a favor to anybody else but yourself, because it will test your limits, it will test your endurance, it will test your mental strength, it will test a lot of things in you, but in return it will give you a lot. So it is worth, taking back so much more from that finish line, that I feel like everybody should kind of go through that feeling. It's a different vibe. It's very positive. It kind of ensures that you are only a
Absolutely.
better version of yourself. So we
Exactly.
will be closing the registrations soon. So for all those people who have missed the early bird, you still have the chance. Go for it. Don't think twice. I promise it's going to be a very experiential event for everybody who's going to be a part of it. And you will definitely take a lot of takeaways in physical as well as emotional to ensure that you're going to come back next year as well.
Absolutely. That was lovely, lovely, a conversation with you regarding your experience, regarding your struggles, regarding your marathons, all of those things, and especially regarding the Niveus Marathon, how Mangalore is coming up with this, and it has been coming up since few years now, and it's the legacy is going on, and it's
Yes.
going like upwards. Very
Yeah,
nice, lovely to know.
absolutely.
As a Mangalorean, it's really, a proud moment to, witness this, experience this, in fact. And lovely talking to you. Do you have anything else to tell it to the viewers? Like anything else? Anything? Like random things, whatever you comes in your mind right now.
Well, my only thing is that I would say that, take care of yourself. Like, it's so important to give time to love yourself, to ensure that you're doing the right things for yourself. Because if you cannot love yourself, then you wouldn't be able to love anybody else around you. It could be family, it could be a partner, it could be your pet, it could be anybody around you. But if you're not able to, give that time to yourself, take care of yourself, it's impossible to, show the same kind of love towards anybody else. So how do we take care of ourselves? By being physically fit, by being emotionally fit, by ensuring that we're doing things that, helps us kind of show up every single day. So ensure that you have the drive, the discipline, and the determination to kind of finish it. So to the youth and to everybody out there, there's so much of information, right? I mean, there is like a whole Google drive out there where you can learn a lot of things, but then it could kind of negatively impact as well, because again, we don't know how to filter it out. We don't know how to pick up the right things.
Customize it. Yeah.
Yeah, so customize it, or do something right which will fit to your regime and which will suit your needs. So um take the help from the right sources. That's most important. And then when you're taking help from the right sources, trust the source, and ensure that you're sticking to the plan. Like Sanan, you mentioned, always stick to the plan,
Not the
right?
moods.
Yeah, sometimes life has its own way of giving us some
Exactly.
surprises, and I think we'll have to kind of be ready for that as well. But yeah, I think everything is gonna go good as long as you stay positive, and you never give up. So you don't you gotta have that attitude of I won't give up no matter what, in any adversity or any challenge that life has to throw us. Just don't give up. Just walk with a smile, and you will understand that it's just a phase. It's just a phase which will pass through. Good or bad, both will pass through. So we just keep moving on.
Absolutely. Lovely message. And again, thank you so much for coming. Like, it was lovely having you on board and lovely conversation. Learned a lot. I always learn a lot from, each and every person, like, be it, as you told, like a minute thing or a major thing, whatever it is, I've been learning a lot. We've also gone together for High Rocks. We
Yeah,
have
high
enjoyed.
rocks.
Yeah, yeah. It was a
Yeah,
lovely experience.
we need to do another
Yeah,
session
yeah, yeah,
altogether
exactly.
just
For sure.
talking about the High Rocks experience, because it was so amazing. I mean, we did it
Exactly.
individually, we did it together as a team,
Really?
we
Yeah,
trained
yeah.
together. So I think it was the beautiful experience.
Beautiful.
So I mean, people should know about what High Rocks
Exactly.
is
We,
and
we will we will
all of
again
that.
come on board. I'd love to have you
Absolutely.
on board again, and talk
Yeah.
about it. We just again like let's keep that unfiltered and like raw, like just
Yeah.
tell people how it feels and get them on board as
Yeah.
well into fitness and everything. So, anyways,
Correct.
so we had a lovely conversation. It's almost 56 minutes now, and lovely having you here. And thank you so much, so much for coming on board and telling people about Niveus Marathon and everything whatever we have spoken right now. And that's it for now, guys. Thank you if you have watched till here. For the viewers, thank you so much for coming till here. You guys, make my day every day. And if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe. Also like it and also follow Sinan Mohammed as well as Mehwish Hussain on Instagram so that you will be motivated. We will never, trust me, we will never fail to inspire you. We will never fail to push you every time. Whatever we post, whatever we tell, it will be worth it. And thank you so much for coming till here. This is Mr. An Mohammed signing off. And that's Mehwish Hussain for you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanan, for having me
All
on
right.
board.